Should we fast for 1 week, twice a year? Does it really matter? Should it be a juice or a water fast?
I'm much more of an advocate of a 1 day a week fast. Now, think about this when we speak about it. If you do 1 day a week, that's doable for most people. Now, let me once again frame this in saying some of you listening may not even know you have an anorexic problem, a bulimic problem, or you've been through long-term medicines where you're weak, you're emaciated. Disregard what I'm saying now. This is not a general statement for everyone on the planet Earth. This is a general statement for almost everyone on the planet Earth, but not people that are enduring these problems. But if you are one of the people that can fast 1 day a week, 52 days in a year. Now, it takes 7 years for the body to totally regenerate. Now, what do I mean by that? That means if I analyze every single cell in your body today, we catalog it, we come back 7 years from today, the day you're listening to me here on The Real Truth About Health, not one cell is in the body anymore. You're completely a new person. And when you look at this, it's unbelievably interesting. The human heart is completely new in 30 days. Oh, Brian, that's not true. Yes, it is. If I take your heart out, we analyze it, put it back in, take it out again, 30 days from today, new cells. Human lungs, 70 days. Somebody said, wait a minute now, I had lung cancer. How come it didn't go away? Because lung cancer cells move in the counterclockwise manner, not clockwise. So they'll picture this. The way I pictured is when you're living healthy, the inside of an organ that's enduring something like a tumor, sandpaper comes there and slowly erodes it. But the fact of the matter is, this constant renewal and regeneration of the body is phenomenally good, because when a physician does a snapshot on you, say, look at how sick you are today, and says, look at 3 years ago how sick you are, they're not taking into account what they learned at 18 years old in pre-med, that the body completely, always, consistently regenerates. So you're a new person in the heart in 30 days, in the lung in 70 days. And the more we strengthen the anatomical development of the human body, the growth of bones, the growth of tissue, the growth of organs, with strong cells, enduring cells, an immune system that's the Israeli army, not another army, then at that point, you can strengthen yourself, eradicate disorders, prevent disorder, and slow the aging process. I can't promise you won't age. You'll just slow the aging process.
Should we try to spend all day outside getting sunshine to optimize our vitamin D?
Well, it would be a little tough for me to tell people in Alaska to stay outside all day. In Florida, it's very easy where I live. Back to the matter is, I think this. I don't think this. I know this, and you know this too, that everyone was outside a century ago, because your family and my family were farmers. Unless you're part of the aristocracy, and if you are, you probably wouldn't be listening to me. You'd be eating Twinkies and caviar somewhere. The fact of the matter is that you were farming. You were outside at least 6 days a week and probably walked to the synagogue or church on the 7th day. That's it. When I was a kid, every mother everywhere in the world put their child in a carriage and put you in the sun, even in the middle of cold winter days, to get sun. Sanitariums, a century ago and before, every hospital, every sanitarium put you in the sun, realizing this. All at once, a half a century ago, the sun became an enemy. Don't go into the sun. You're going to get cancer. Oh my God. And I even got caught up with it. Oh my God. I used to lay on the beach up in the New York area, sunbathing. Oh my God. And then I said, well, boy, those poor people in Africa, they're out in the sun still. I don't get in the sun that often. I'm inside most. Those poor indigenous tribes in South. So I looked up at the data from the United Nations. They had no more skin cancer there than they had 50 or 100 years ago. Now, what's the difference? In Whitey world, that's where you're from, Whitey world, where we've been in experiments since the 1940s, where every bit of meat you put in, the animal fat has heavy metals and chemicals and God knows what else, radiation in it. And now when you go into the sun, why you and I should go there is not to get vitamin D, but to activate and strengthen the immune system. There's no one element more powerfully important to activate your immune system than the sun. Attitude is a close second, but the sun is right up the top. That's why when you and I sit in the sun, we're doing nothing and we feel unbelievably good and strong. We come out, oh my God, you may have been tired. You get off that chair and you feel empowered at that. There's a reason. And we always were in the sun. So should we be outside every day? Yeah, it would be great. But if not, in my wife's country of Sweden, if you go all the Scandinavian countries, in appliance stores where you buy dishwashers and refrigerant, every one of those stores have a variety of sunlight, sun lamps that you buy. They at least get, if you don't have the sun, you know, your working place you should be putting full spectrum lighting in your house. Is it exactly like the sun? It's better than it was. It's probably 80, 90% as good as the sun. And when you're home, I have two outfits, fancy outfit you're in and shorts. So I'm always in the sun in Florida, but if I were in the north, which I was, the Institute's originally from Boston, remember? I had all these full spectrum lights all over the place. Why buy a light bulb if it's not full spectrum? That's it. Now, with that said, is vitamin D important? Well, if you'd heard me speak 10 years ago, I would have been wrong. And sometimes I learn things. I thought they were just making stuff up about vitamin D. I just didn't read the right research. Now I've been reading it. Vitamin D is phenomenal. The more we study this hormone, by the way, let's change the name. It's not vitamin D, it's hormone D. That's where the mistake was made. It's not a vitamin, it's a hormone. And if you read my book, Life Force, it speaks about what a hormone is. A hormone is the language within the human body. It's how cells communicate with one another. And why you want a healthy conversation between cells is so they don't go off and do something weird. You want them to be communicating, acting together symbiotically. You want them to be a force of nature. That's all for the good. And you need the hormones there for it. And vitamin D does it. Now we know that every single one of your cells in your entire body have vitamin D receptor sites. What does that mean? God, nature, and the universe says vitamin D is that important. Now, here's something we learned during that Fiasco 19 episode that we were all just put through. That in the bottom of your nose, you have 8 times more, the cells there, 8 times more receptor sites for vitamin D than you do any other single cells in your body. Isn't that unbelievable what evolution did? It actually said when you're breathing in viruses and bacteria and microbes and dust mites and all of these things, that we're going to put 8 times more vitamin D at the bottom of your nose. So it kills those little things when they come in. So ever since I've been telling everyone, forget the 19, any virus, if you're in the public, if you're worried, if you're sick, if you're prone to get sick, you take like the Life Give vitamin D, which is made of a vine, a plant, the vine of a plant, not cooked. It's a white powder. You take a little bit, it's a little tiny capsule, a little bit, you put it in, a drop of oil, you put your pinky in, put it way to the back of the nose at the bottom. Don't put it at the top. They're going to be thinking you're either eating donuts with white sugar or cocaine. You don't want that to be told. So you put it to the back, and when you're in the public, it's going to prevent you from getting that virus of any type or that bacteria that comes in. So I did it on planes when I go on, not that I'm on planes a lot now anymore, but yes, on planes when I'm there. In the public, if you're going to some place you don't know, you have to go out. These are great, great things to consider. Vitamin D, I'm a big fan of. Yes, you should take vitamin D. Yes, if you're out in the sun, about 84% of the population that do not have enough vitamin D. One of the standard tests that we do here. And yes, you can inject food-based forms in, that helps you, but you got to maintain it. You're not going to constantly inject. It's not even healthy to constantly inject.